around like that at age 58. So I want to get that out the way first. But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul. Now, unlike people who've worked with me, unlike people who are friends and colleagues, what have you, I didn't find it funny.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank.
That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
Stephen A. Smith criticized Jake Paul for agreeing to fight Gervonta Davis, arguing that Jake is simply too big for him. Smith said Paul keeps selecting opponents that don't genuinely challenge his skills, calling this matchup one-sided and uncompetitive. According to Smith, Jake avoids fighters who are on his level, revealing that his career choices are more about easy wins than proving his ability in the ring.
That was Mike Tyson. Now you're going into the ring against a cat that's 228. He's a young lion, and no matter what questions may exist about Jake Paul and his ability to box real boxers, because we haven't really seen that yet from him, we don't question his power. Mm-hmm. We know he's got power.
Yeah. Stephen A. Smith asked Gervonta Davis's coach who he believes should face Tank next. The coach didn't hesitate. He said anyone who's spoken negatively about Davis should step up first. He mentioned names like Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, both of whom have publicly questioned Davis's abilities. For the coach, this isn't just about rivalry, it's about respect. He wants these critics to experience Tank's power firsthand, not out of revenge, but to silence those who continue to doubt Davis's dominance. From his perspective, it's time for the talkers to be humbled in the ring.
Who do you want to see? You, as a guy that's in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him, you're training him all the time, you know him, both y'all from the streets of Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight next?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down to, we're working on the big four. It was Garcia. That's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He know he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now, who's going to take the fight? That's the question.
Comedian and commentator Aries Spears didn't hold back when sharing his opinion on the upcoming event. To him, the fight feels more like a performance than a true sporting contest. Despite calling it a circus, Spears expressed confidence in Davis's strength and precision, predicting a knockout by the third round. What stands out is the mix of criticism and admiration. He mocks the promotional hype but respects Tank's efficiency as a finisher. Spears' view mirrors that of many fans who see the fight as both ridiculous and captivating, entertainment wrapped in genuine skill.
The next fight that's coming up is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul.
Oh, this is such a circus.
Yeah. Look, according to BetOnline.ag, Gervonta Davis is favored -240, Jake Paul's +190. So more than twice the odds for Davis. Davis is a lot smaller, but he's a real serious fighter.
I'm predicting a third-round knockout.
Ooh.
Third
round knockout.
He's out of there. Listen, I don't know what's the bigger joke. That fight or Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather?
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, this is honestly just disappointing. As a boxing fan, to just keep seeing these circuses happen over and over again.
I don't know if the rumor's true, but I heard Floyd was talking about coming out of retirement to fight Crawford. Now, that's got some panache to it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
but I think Floyd will end up taking a loss.
Finally.
That's the thing. He'd mess up that record.
Yeah. And I would respect him for it because we know how much he's tried to protect the record. Take the risk. This is what great fighters are supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's interesting because people were saying that Terrence Crawford should retire because he's, 43-0 at this point?
Okay.
He's 37 years old. I personally don't think
But he's still got the goods, though.
Oh, he's got the goods.
Yeah, he's still got the goods.
Because Canelo was a monster had been dominating for a while.
Right.
And like he'd only had like 2 losses, one of which was Mayweather, very early in his career. But this whole like Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis thing is just like, because Gervonta was supposed to fight Roach. It was supposed to be a rematch because it was, I believe, a draw last time.
Yeah.
So you go and fight Jake Paul instead? I'm sure it's a much bigger bag. I'm sure it's a much bigger bag.
And clearly that's what it's about. It's the bag, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pretty soon they're going to have Denzel Washington fighting somebody. Like, you know, they're going to start putting like old men. I mean, they're already putting old men in the ring.
As long as before the fight, Denzel looks at his watch and goes, 16 seconds. I'm with it.
Stephen A.S. Smith, known for his outspoken opinions, says boxing needs to move beyond spectacle-driven events. He believes Gervonta Davis should focus on meaningful matchups that test his limits rather than exhibition-style bouts that add little to his legacy. Smith expressed particular interest in seeing Davis rematch Ryan Garcia, a fight that still carries unfinished business. He also mentioned Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson as ideal challengers who could push Davis both mentally and physically. His message is simple: fans deserve fights that matter, ones that define champions and restore the sport's competitive spirit. Davis's talent, he insists, should be tested against legitimate contenders.
To me personally, I want to see him fight a Garcia again. I want to see him fight a Teofimo Lopez, somebody like that that's got some power, somebody that has the potential to inflict some pain upon him, because I don't know if anybody can do it. And I've totally lost it with David Haney. After what I saw Ryan Garcia do to him, even though Ryan Garcia was a bit bulked up.
A growing number of boxing commentators are losing patience with Jake Paul's career approach. They argue his fight announcements follow a predictable pattern, choosing unusual opponents who generate attention rather than competition. Many experts believe his bouts are designed more for headlines and viral clips than for building real credibility. Critics point out that Paul often avoids opponents who match him in experience, weight, or technical skill. While his events draw millions of viewers, purists argue that the entertainment value comes at the cost of authenticity, reducing boxing to spectacle over sport. For them, Jake remains more of a showman than a true professional contender.
Performance. Jake Paul won the fight. But yeah, that was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. What is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he'd lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire as he was experiencing extreme mental fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money, fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against Jake Paul, was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits Jake Paul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way, weighs in excess of 200 pounds, and Tank Davis, who is, he was the WBA lightweight champion, who weighs in at about 135 pounds when he fights. So that's a disparity of some 65 pounds. In old money, that's about 4.5 stone. There's also a significant difference in height. Jake Paul is roughly, 6'1", 2. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" at best. So, there's a height disparity there of some 8 inches. And once again, this is Jake Paul showing total disrespect to boxing, in my opinion.
Analysts increasingly believe Gervonta Davis's decisions are being driven more by profit than prestige. They say his team prioritizes massive paydays over legacy-defining fights. The planned matchup with Jake Paul reinforces this perception, suggesting that boxing has become more of an entertainment business than a sport. Davis's explosive style guarantees strong pay-per-view sales, and pairing him with a YouTube star amplifies the draw. However, traditionalists see this as troubling proof that fighters now weigh financial gain more heavily than competition. While Davis's talent is undeniable, his recent moves suggest money may be a bigger motivator than legacy.
Look at how Tank started acting after he made 40 million with Ryan. When he make another 40 plus million with Jake,
he's gonna go make 40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Rowe for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that Canelo money, man.
Respected boxing figure Jeff Mayweather openly questioned the logic behind this matchup, citing the significant size and weight disparity between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. He emphasized that boxing's weight divisions exist to prevent such imbalances from endangering fighters. Paul's naturally larger frame, he argued, gives him an unfair physical advantage. Even with Davis's superior skill set, the gap in reach, mass, and strength makes the fight unbalanced. Mayweather described the contest as a mismatch that could damage the sport's credibility, warning that promoters are bending the rules too far in pursuit of financial spectacle.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank, and I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting, but I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
Former world champion Carl Froch didn't mince words when discussing Jake Paul's choices. He accused Jake of deliberately targeting smaller fighters to maintain a physical edge. Froch criticized Paul for skipping opportunities to face naturally larger opponents like legitimate heavyweights in favor of someone like Davis, who competes several divisions below. To Froch, this exposes Jake's true motives, creating viral mismatches rather than pursuing real challenges. His blunt comments reflect a frustration shared by many veterans who feel boxing's traditions are being undermined by celebrity-driven events, trading integrity for views and cash.
Supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think, but the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in, and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share, and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
MMA legend Daniel Cormier voiced strong disapproval of the upcoming fight, calling it uncompetitive and predictable. He said Jake Paul's size advantage overshadows any intrigue, making it difficult for fans to take the event seriously. Cormier pointed out that the weight gap doesn't just affect power, it impacts stamina, defense, and overall safety. While the fight may spark curiosity, he argued, it offers little true sporting value. He also warned that boxing's obsession with spectacle over substance risks eroding its integrity, echoing a growing frustration among athletes who see the sport's proud traditions being replaced by shallow publicity stunts.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why he's taking this fight.
He's been a world champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 136 pounds.
Observers note that while many criticize this fight as meaningless, it still serves multiple purposes within the boxing business. Promoters, media outlets, and even rival fighters benefit from the buzz it generates. The controversy itself fuels attention and financial momentum. Ironically, the same commentators who condemn the matchup also amplify its reach by discussing it endlessly. This contradiction highlights modern boxing's reliance on controversy as much as competition, where every critique becomes free marketing, and every insult helps sell tickets. What some call a mockery is, paradoxically, what keeps the industry profitable and relevant.
Criticism for fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul. Spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap. Because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So, do I think that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight. And then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said, I'd be fighting Jake Paul.
The larger conversation surrounding this fight isn't just about who wins, it's about what it represents. Many see it as a symbol of the blurred line between entertainment and athletic integrity. Jake Paul's rise has proven that popularity can outweigh pedigree, while Gervonta Davis's participation shows that even elite boxers are not immune to the pull of spectacle. Critics argue that such events dilute boxing's essence, turning it into a stage for novelty rather than competition. Supporters counter that it's an evolution, a way to keep the sport alive in a social media-dominated era. Either way, this matchup forces boxing to confront its identity crisis. Is it still about proving superiority through skill and discipline, or has it become a business where fame dictates the fights?
95 pounds, bearing in mind Tank Davis fights at 135. That's 60 pounds size difference. And Tank often weighs in light at 133.5 pounds. You know, he's 5'5". He's not a big guy. Okay, let's be honest, he's tiny. I could literally put him in my pocket. You know, he's a pocket rocket, but he's small. Yes, I know, I went too far. Let's move on. Jake's been fighting a cruiserweight, over 200 pounds. You know, he's 6'1". He's just a bigger guy. You know, a different beast. This is what Jake does. Love or hate him, he knows how to generate interest, get people talking, in his words, do the unthinkable. But guess what? People will tune in. What can I say? The guy's clever. He calls out AJ. The fight's looking likely. Everybody's outraged. Can't believe it. Then bang. He's fighting Tank. The man's half the size. He's done it again. Whether you like it or not, he's a marketing genius. He knows how to keep his name on your tongue. Everyone slated him for fighting Mike Tyson. I did too. He was fighting an old man with health problems. But guess what? I tuned in. And do you know why? Because curiosity killed the cat. And I wasn't alone. 100 million plus people tuned in.
That concludes today's coverage.